All right, welcome back, guys. We are doing a little bit different YFit podcast. We have Mary Ripper here from the Cancer Center. She's a social worker. So first of all, welcome to our group. So today I'm really excited to have everybody here. We've had people that have done this Strength for Survivors in the past, and you guys have trained people and put them through the program. There's going to be Kyle that is going to be new to the program and learning. So this will be good for all of us sort of learn what we've done in the past. And for your expertise, Mary, on how this helps people and how this helps them with their families and their journey. So real quick, Mary, first of all, thank you for coming on board to talk with us and spend the time of your day to talk with us on this. Could you first of all tell us a little bit about yourself, and then tell us a little bit about maybe what you've seen when people do fitness and exercise that have been the survivors and the people that have been victorious over cancer. What that does for them and their family. Could you just tell us a little bit about what you've seen in the past?
So my role at the Cancer Center is, as a social worker, is to help people connect with resources. And it's before, during, and after the program, their cancer treatment. And it's really important to stay active as much as possible. Movement is kind of the key to long life, and our bodies aren't really made to sit real long. Mm-hmm. But when people are going through cancer, they typically have a lot of stressors, and it kind of interferes with their routine, and they don't move as much. They get a little more tired. Sometimes the treatment doesn't make them feel any better for a while. Mm-hmm. And so what we're encouraging them to do, especially after treatment, is to let's think about improving your quality of life, and how can we get you as strong as possible. And so it's a wonderful opportunity, and to be able to collaborate with you guys here at the YMCA in Hannibal, and Quincy I think offers a program as well. But as you specifically, it's been wonderful to have that option, and you guys can talk about all the parts of that. But I find the people who get moving quicker are much more likely to they just seem to feel better a lot. Mentally, emotionally, they kind of get right back into life. They want to do things again. And connecting with people on the outside, like you guys, they just feel so supported, and it's that when they're seeing us regularly at the Cancer Center, they kind of get used to us. And then when they don't see us, it feels a little bit of it's like weird that, okay, now we're just supposed to know what to do. And having another connection on the outside with you guys is just really awesome.
So you feel, and then you guys can also answer, I think you three would be a perfect way to answer this question. And I was really curious about this, because I noticed that we do group sessions with these survivors. And they're heroes. I have very personal stories about people that deal with cancer that didn't survive and survived. But how do you guys think? Is it a group that just trains, or is it a group that really becomes like a network, or a group that deals with their problems together? You see almost like certainly the cancer survivor groups need people that have gone through the same situation to help encourage each other through life and deal with the same symptoms they're dealing with. What have you guys seen? And is it that way, or what has been the turnaround with that?
It's interesting that we're kind of going this direction, because the first session we actually do in here. We don't even go. We don't even go out to the floor, to the gym in the first session, because really we're probably bringing 4 to 6 strangers together who may have never met each other. They all coming in with their own baggage and own story and their own journey, and we just try to create that culture right off the bat, where people just open up and, hey, just tell us a little bit about your cancer journey. And we just go around the room and we try to create that nice, comfortable space right off the bat, try to create that new community, because they're going to be with us for the next 6 to 8 weeks training. And they're all just walking in different places. So I like that the first session we don't even work out. We just get to know each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool too, because a lot of times cancer affects people of all ages and fitness levels, and so I've had groups where most of the people were over the age of 70, and I've had other groups where you'd have a lady in her 40s and a couple guys in their 50s, and then people in their 60s. And so, but once you have them sit around the table and say, hey, let's talk about, like you said, first session, okay, let's tell us the history of your experience with cancer and then kind of your life, it's cool to have them be like, this is our common ground. And then they can encourage each other as they continue with the group sessions. You know, people who are younger can be encouraging for the people who are a little older, or sometimes the older people are stronger than the younger people. And so it just kind of has that, just the camaraderie, is really cool that's created. And I know one of the sessions I did, there was a group and it was a husband and a wife together, and that was fun to have them train.
Did they argue at all?
It was a few times it was like, I don't know if that's a funny thing or if you're being rude. But
that's cool.
Yeah, it's been fun to see that.
Yeah, and I had a group one time where two guys, they signed up for the same time, same session, didn't know that they were going to be there. They were in high school together, you know, so it was just like, oh, it was already that kind of comfortable, like, and like, I don't even know if they knew each other had cancer, but you know, hey, they had that in common, and it was just like a familiar face to like make it a little bit more comfortable to open up and share struggles and really, because really in in the 8 weeks, that's
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, 6 weeks. It's more of a starting point. It really is. I mean, we're going to see some strength and some improvements over that time, but really we want to create those habits.
Habits, absolutely.
Yes, and get them off to a good start with some direction.
And then from there, a lot of them, if they have clicked with other people in their group, they might be like, oh, me and Sally, after the 6 weeks, we're going to keep getting together and work out together.
Exactly.
Even if it's like we're just walking on the track.
Exactly.
Or we're going to try a group class together.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
And so I think, again, all of us have at least some point or another been hit by a family member, friend that had cancer. And so at least my story, I had a grandmother that passed away and my little brother-in-law that had cancer. It was very severe. He just finally had, I think about a month ago, he had his last chemo treatment. But even after it, he doesn't have that much of a support group. So what a wonderful way to have something like this available for someone that's gone through that. Because it does wreck your life and your thinking and how you function. It'd be great to have that support group to say, let's keep pushing. And one thing we do, and you guys can sort of explain too, is we also do things for the families of that person for that time. So that's one thing that Y does, is provide a complimentary for the families to be able, the whole family to be able to participate on the Y, which is a really cool thing to do.
And that's for 2 months, correct?
2 months of
2
free
month
membership
membership.
comes with the program. Yeah, it's amazing.
Which is really amazing. So
that gets the family reconnected as well, and they're doing something fun together. It's a free service, which is a really big deal for people that are going through cancer because they don't think they can do anything for a while. They're trying to pay bills and things.
Yep.
So how do you think a program like this would, let's say for example, somebody sitting in the living room that wants to give it to their sister or their best friend that has gone through the treatment and they're alone. I mean, how can we explain it to them so they don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going into something scary, I shouldn't do this, so everyone's gonna be better off than I am. How can we express that to them to say, come in, this is really important for you. This is definitely gonna be something that will be beneficial to you.
Well, if they have concerns about, I know there's a form they have to fill in, an application to say that yes, they were a cancer patient, and then the doctor needs to sign off that it's okay for them to go ahead and start with training, or some kind of physical activity. So, you could, if somebody calls you and they're kind of not sure, it's like, there's some paperwork. If you would like to call the cancer center, they'd be glad to, help you with that and talk you through that a little bit, because we can see where they're at with that. Some people are scared. I haven't seen anybody for a long time. I don't have my hair right now. It's still a little self-conscious, So we can talk them through some of that, and so they're already familiar with us, and then we can help guide them to you and say, hey, call Janelle, she's really sweet, or call Jeff,
Yep.
or Kyle, and they'll be glad to work with you on this, and your kids and your family could go with you, so you won't be alone. That kind of thing, there's some really great other opportunities there. So kind of, again, it's that emotional support. It's sometimes people don't like the name support group, but it's a matter of reconnecting with people again after you've been through somewhat of a traumatic experience at times,
Yeah. And this isn't a new program. We've been doing this for about a year now. And I remember putting the program together though, and just from a program design, if people are nervous about training, we intentionally put it together where there's adaptations. There's progressions and regressions to every exercise, because we know everybody's gonna be walking in at different places with different abilities. So we intentionally gave that some thought that, hey, what's an exercise that's easily progressed for someone who's a little bit further along, or regress for someone who's not quite there. And that's what we're trained to do, is progress, regress, and adapt. Even though we come in with a basic structure to the program, it's easily adaptable for anybody.
Yeah,
So.
and the nice thing that we do too is we had binders for each participant, and so, so if there's 6 people in our group, 6 people have a copy of the workout we're doing, and then they wrote down like, okay, when I did the tricep machine, I used 30 pounds and I did 15 reps. So they have written out what they did in their workout, and we repeat the same workout, because we'll meet with them twice a week, so we'll repeat that same workout twice in that week, and then the next week we do a new workout. And so at the end of the program, they have 6 weeks of workouts that they have done, and they wrote down their weights and how many reps and everything, and the way that they modified it if we did. And so when they leave, it's not just like they have to remember what they did with us. They have literally a binder full of all the exercises that they did. And they could bring their family into it, or they could write down as they go, months later, and see, oh, I used to start with 15 pounds on the tricep machine, and now I'm doing 30. So it's a really good way to kind of, we're getting them started, we're giving them the tools they need, and then hopefully after the 6 weeks, they have everything they need to succeed. So.
That's perfect. It's an individualized treatment plan, basically continued, throughout our life, and we all need that, really. We need that extra guidance and support, encouragement, even motivation. When you have somebody else to respond to, that little accountability kind of keeps us on track.
Yeah.
Another thing is we got, like Janelle was saying, we got the measurable results. I mean, it's called Strength for Survivor. Our goal is to increase muscle strength and get stronger and just, increase our bone density and those things depending on what you're going through. But another cool thing we got with the program is that we take into account those non-measurable results, like how are you feeling? We have a template we actually walk through before every workout, like how are you feeling today?
That's awesome.
And you give yourself a fatigue log, like how's your energy, how are just overall well-being, because I don't know about you guys, but I feel a whole lot better when I work out. That's my feel good place,
Improve mood.
Yeah, it really does. You get the endorphins pumping and stuff, and I like to see the progression even on the non-measurable. Just how are you feeling on a day-to-day? How's your quality of life?
And you think about too, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but you think about like even the family that's been invited in to train, they see that family member. For example, like my grandmother passed away tragically from cancer. And it was not good for the rest of the family. But if we had some kind of support group like that, I think it would have been a longer chance for her to survive. Because after a treatment, she sort of went reclusiveness, and then just life ended. But how amazing it would have been, for example, my mother, to be able to watch her work out, and watch her train, and watch her have a better quality of life. It would have affected my mother in such a positive way. So it's not just for. I mean, it's great for the patient going through this, but it's also, I think, psychologically and emotionally helpful for the family that's watched their family members suffer. And now they're enjoying something, now they're going into fitness, and now they see them getting healthier. And that family at that point will be going, okay, let's not stop. Let's keep going. It's done. We need, what's the next step? What's the next step pushing? I think that's a pretty cool situation. Like I wish this was up in Wisconsin where my little brother is. Because right now he's got done with it. He's at home going, what next? And so if we had this, holy cow, this would have been amazing for him. Some outlet. So I just think it's not just it's for the whole family wholeness. And I think it's an amazing thing we're doing here. When I heard about this, I was like, holy cow, this is so cool.
Free
That
program.
is free for them.
And it's free for them.
Yeah, absolutely free.
So it's not about the money at this point. It's open door for them to say, okay, let's do this. And it's pretty darn cool.
Yeah. No, it is good. And one of my in the first sessions, one of those clients actually continued on with me as a person to continue to train them, and it's been amazing just to how that started in this complete stranger from this Strength for Survivor groups continued on with me, and she's just having tremendous results. She's lost some weight, which is great, but more importantly, like she just went to the doctor and her blood work has never been better. I mean, practically perfect to the point of like, hey, we're talking to about removing medications now instead of adding them on. So, I
That's pretty
mean,
cool.
you just never
That's
know, you know, God places us in the place for a reason, and we crossed paths, and we clicked, and she continued on. It's just been an amazing
She laughs a lot.
transformation.
Even more since I started here.
Yeah.
She laughs a lot more.
Yeah,
Which is awesome.
and I mean, she got out of her doctor's appointment, and I was the first person she called, and that was just awesome. So,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
neat.
just tremendous to see.
It
her.
becomes a new way of life for people.
Yeah.
Well, and it normalizes things again. It gets you back into living, right? Because exercise really should be all a part of our lives. It's one of the foundations of wellness, right?
Yeah.
Exercise, diet, sleep,
Yeah.
social community, right?
Yeah.
So you are affecting all of those major life areas here. And I know you encourage people to eat healthier. And when you feel better and you see those results, you do start eating healthier. You do start making those life changes. So this is just helping them develop their new normal. Because once you get that cancer diagnosis, your whole world changes.
Yeah.
And it affects the whole family as well.
Yeah, and even the psychological, like our best friend, she went through 2 bouts of breast cancer, and even emotionally and mentally, you talk to her, and it just seems like there's so much changed in her, in herself, and so something like this would be really good to be able to try to hopefully get neural pathways reconnected, the body adapted better, instead of being home alone saying. And it also takes us a little bit about, and you know, I heard someone that went through Saints First Five that was on the treadmill all the time, and I was talking to him about, hey, what should I say about this program? And their response sort of shocked me. It says, it kept me from being a victim. And I didn't expect that. I thought, hey, it's a great program, we all had fun. It's like, it kept me from being a victim. I said, how's that? So it kept me from staying home and moping. And they said flat out, this saved me. I could either died, or I could have done something about it. And that was my done something about it. So which is pretty
Again,
cool.
movement, you know, it's getting you to reach out and step outside your little box, you know, to try new things and to be in a supportive environment. And I think you guys offer all of that here.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, and I think that's what's great too, is I've had a couple clients that have battled with cancer in the past, and they come in, they feel down and out. They're scared because they're like, what if everybody's watching me? And I tell people all the time, everybody in that gym is worried that everybody else is watching.
Yes.
Nobody's really paying a whole lot of attention as to what you're doing, so don't worry about it. Worry about your own journey. And it's really cool to see them eventually, they're nervous at first, but then as you continue working with them, as they gain that confidence again, and they get stronger. I mean, I still see them today, even though they're not training with me, I'll still see them periodically come in, work out, do their own thing, and they're, they look as comfortable as can be, and their confidence is so much higher, and it's just really cool to kind of see that shift and that change.
The one thing I like about the membership too for the family, and I keep coming back to that because that's my perspective of knowing things, but the YMCA is a family organization as a whole. So like we have sports programs, youth programs, and so that is a really good way, especially if this is a mother with younger kids, for them to get into some kind of sports activity. And so what a great way to start a community for them and redirect them, especially because that affects the family so awfully, to see something they can't help or control their family going through that. So having a little young one, being able to get that stress and that pain to get it through an activity and getting a community around them, getting that kind of loving support. The YMCA, that's what we're all about. And I think it's perfect for that kind of category, saying, hey guys, you're in here now. We got some youth activities that you can participate. We got some soccer, we got some flag football, we got some other activities they can be a part of. And so it gives those kids a place of belonging so they can be able to get that stress and everything out. So I think that's another beautiful thing with the Y, is it's a whole family healing, and not just one person again. So I think that's really cool.
Well, and some of the side effects that cancer survivors deal with are fatigue and sleep issues. And exercise, we know, is evidence-based practice, to help improve those two side effect or life areas. So I think that's wonderful that you guys have them kind of monitor that as well. I didn't know you did that.
Yeah. So, Brant, will you tell them, if they do want to participate in the program, what's the step? Do they start at the Cancer Center and fill out a form? Do they come to the Y?
There's a couple ways.
Okay.
So the program, and you were reading my mind. I was about to tell you the dates. You were so good. It starts on September 9th and it goes through October. And basically, there's 2 steps you can do. At the Cancer Center, there is a person that they can speak with that can give them a form that they can fill out. Also, we have flyers that we have online on the Facebook that directs you to filling out a form or connecting with us so we can have a form filled out for you. Coming in, meeting with us, or we can either email a flyer or form out to them. There's multiple ways that we can get forms. Some of them fill out the form, sign it up, and then we get in the program and having us contact the dates, and we'll have separate dates set up. It's a whole program we have set up already. So,
But it does take a little bit of time. It's not something they can just sign up the day before, because they gotta go get doctor
approved.
Yeah.
Fill out a whole questionnaire.
Yep, and so it is a form to go through.
Yeah.
It is a process to go through.
Not totally complicated, not overwhelming. It just
But it
takes some time.
But we have to make things, we do things right.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the clinic is completely side by side working with us. And I know there is a specific person when they go through the program to finish. That person talks to them about the program. We already have people already signed up, which has been really awesome. I'm really excited about it. And so a lot of people already know when they're done, okay, it's your last treatment. We have this program coming up at the YMCA to help you continue with your progress. So that's already being said. My phone is going crazy.
Can I clarify something?
Yeah,
If
please.
somebody, since this is a newer program, you've had it, last year and now this year. But if somebody went through cancer treatment a couple years ago, they could still sign up, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's my understanding.
Yes,
Okay, so
100%.
just
They
so
just
people
can't have
know.
gone through the program in
Yeah,
the
we
past.
try
This
to
is-
reserve spots, before
new
people.
people.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. So I mean, we're not trying to make sure that's just for excluded group. I mean, this is going to help people.
Well, yeah, so I just wanted to remind
that's
people,
very good.
anybody,
Yeah,
if they
100%.
had treatment 5 years ago and they're still not feeling, like they have their good strength.
Please contact us.
Yeah.
100%.
And I've actually had some people say like, "Oh, I've only had this type of cancer. Am I eligible?" Like they're downplaying their
It's
cancer.
any
Like,
type
no,
of-
it's any.
Any
Like
type
you
of
had
cancer.
cancer,
Any type of
okay?
cancer.
Like
Yes.
you had cancer, you are eligible. Like it's because they're like, "Oh, it was only this," is what I've heard. And no, it's any type of cancer.
Yes.
Yeah, and that we're here to, as a whole group, to help the family and help
Yeah.
them.
It was
we're
almost
not
like-
gonna exclude people.
It was almost like they didn't want to take someone else's spot. Like it was
Yeah.
only this.
Yeah.
Like somebody
Like,
else
no,
was more
please,
deserving.
do this.
Sign up.
Yeah.
Sign up.
Yeah.
So.
And you guys continue to offer other programs, so if they miss this one, they could sign up for the
Yeah.
next.
Yes.
one, right?
And
Yeah.
so we've extended this year's to go all the way through October, so we'll have 2 6-week sessions going on.
Nice.
So it's not just like, oh man, I missed the September mark. Okay, we'll have another one coming up, and we'll have that date announced,
Nice.
so they can get ready and sign up for that group. So
Perfect.
we'll have it 2 this time, so we can be able to get it all ready and get everything done before the holidays and get them prepared to have a good, healthier life from that point on. So first of all, I want to say, we're going to wrap it a little bit. I want to say thank you so much for coming.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's great, very helpful.
I think we definitely need to do another podcast a little bit longer about cancer and the fitness and health. I'd love to do this. First of all, you are made for these podcasts. You are. I thought you'd be all nervous. I'm like, I'm just going to shut up now. You're fantastic. So please come on anytime. You are really good. I'm really happy. Thank you so much for you guys all joining in. And definitely, I can't wait to see what happens from all this. But
Yeah.
thank you again for coming.
Yeah. Thank you.
And tune in. We got some awesome things coming in the next episodes.